I'm Gloria Strode and welcome to Straightforward. Today we are going to bring you up to date on the latest technology for the treatment of diabetes, and my awesome friend and sponsor, Dr. Baliga, is here. Welcome.
Thank you, Gloria. It's always a pleasure to be here.
It is always just delightful to see you, and then we have our friend joining us, Kathalee.
That's right.
We got it right, because most people probably always get that wrong. They think it's a typo.
Exactly.
But Kathalee is here to help us introduce
Yes.
the new generation.
Correct.
But what we're going to first start with is what we have been using in terms of technology in treatment of diabetes.
Correct. See, one of the biggest problems that I see with my patient population is recognizing hypoglycemia. See, taking care of diabetes is a very complex business, right? Patients come to me with a lot of hope. They are also sort of afraid about their level of blood sugar control. They are worried about highs. They are worried about the lows. And the question is, what is the right way to treat these patients? Because we know this is a killer disease.
Yes,
that's what I call
is.
it. It's a killer disease. So you have to be very respectful to this disease. So how do we manage diabetes? So anybody comes to me, I assess them, look at all their hormonal status, look at their blood sugar control, then we devise a plan. Now, one of the critical elements of taking care of the diabetic patients is to know their sugars all the time.
Okay, so we need to know the sugars all the time for those that are diabetics.
Especially those who are on insulin. Because you need to give the right amount of insulin. You give too much insulin, what happens? They go into hypoglycemia. And hypoglycemia is the killer.
Really? So too much is not a good thing.
Too much is not good.
Okay.
So hypoglycemia, the problem is sometimes, let's say you are driving and suddenly your blood sugar drops. Most of the time our patients get a warning and they feel shaky, trembly, hungry, sweaty. They know that their blood sugar is dropping. But sometimes if these patients get a lot of hypoglycemic episodes, they lose that awareness, what we call as hypoglycemia unawareness.
Okay, so they're not aware anymore. They just kind of gloss over it.
They gloss over. And the next thing you know is that they will crash if they're driving, if they're operating machinery,
end up
they
in
get
a
serious
car accident or something because they didn't realize they were bottoming out.
Exactly.
Really?
Exactly. And sometimes they get pulled over by the police because they drive erratically.
Oh, it's the symptoms of a DUI.
Exactly.
So they're swerving, but it's really they're having a diabetic episode.
That's why we try to work with the law enforcement officers, tell them to recognize symptoms of hypoglycemia. I don't want them to arrest these people and put them in the jail.
I know, when they're sick.
Exactly.
And then that's really going to cause a problem because
Exactly.
they don't just have doctors just right there when they bring them into the jail.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why when, now what is the best thing we can do? You know, we have to give tools to our patients. In the old days, we had to ask the patient to pull over and do a finger stick, right?
Right.
But nowadays we have all these glucose sensors.
Okay.
Which is like amazing. And not only that, these glucose sensors, they are evolving.
They're evolving.
They are evolving.
As she said, to the next generation.
That's right.
That's what the Kathalee said. We are into the, what I call it, from a bullock cart age to the age of Tesla.
Oh, okay. And
So
he loves that Tesla. So he wants to move everybody to the age of the Tesla.
Exactly.
Okay.
We need to move forward.
We got to move forward.
I don't mind being in that category.
I
Yes,
know,
right,
right? Yeah. So we want to make sure that we're giving people the best that we
yes.
can to help them maintain.
Correct. So we typically they start with doing their finger sticks 2, 3, 4 times a day, sometimes up to 6 times a day. But patients are busy with their life. Sometimes they are worried about the pain, say they don't want to test. And when they come to my office and I don't see the glucometer readings, then I get upset because there is little I can do because I don't know much.
Right. So you need the readings so you can adjust where they need to adjust. Make sure they're getting the proper care.
Exactly.
Right. It's not guesswork.
No.
You want You want to be accurate.
Exactly. Because morning fasting sugar should be between 80 to 120. Then the next number to see is 2 hours after eating any meal. It should be less than 180.
Okay, so morning should be what?
80 to 120.
80 to 120. That's in the morning.
In the morning.
Okay,
That's the ideal blood sugar.
That's the ideal blood sugar.
Right.
Okay, and then what?
2 hours after eating any meal, they should always be below 180. Preferably 140 to 160.
So 2 hours after we eat,
Correct.
it should be
between less than 180 or 140 to 160.
Less than 180.
Definitely less than 180.
Okay, definitely less than 180, and that just kind of depends on the patient.
Correct.
Okay.
And bedtime around 130 to 140. Those are the good numbers. But if you start having like low blood sugar, like 30s and 40s and 50s, that's not good. So we need to make sure that the patients are able to recognize those hypos. But there is no way you can test your sugar every 5 minutes.
No.
That's why we have all these new sensors coming in. For example, this is called a Libre. This is almost like a flash glucometer. So this patch, you wear it. You wear it and it lasts 10 days.
So this you can stick on and it lasts for 10 days.
10 days. Every 10 days you change it. And there is a handheld glucometer, a small device. You bring it close, it shows you the number.
Okay, so you can just put it there and then it's going to read. Okay, so can we take a shower in this, or we have to wrap it with a towel?
You can even take a swim with that.
Oh, we can swim?
You can swim with that.
Okay, well I'm not a diabetic, but I'm just saying the patients can swim with that.
Correct.
Okay.
The only drawback with this one is it doesn't give you alerts. Because, for example, if you move to the next generation, this is the Dexcom. Okay.
Dexcom.
Dexcom. This is another kind of sensor. Again, you wear it for about 7 days. And the latest version is so accurate, you don't even have to do the finger stick. This one, sometimes you have to do a couple of finger sticks. But with the G6, especially if you're using this one to give insulin doses, so this is fine. You don't have to do anything else.
Okay, so this one we need the insulin stick. That one we do not. Okay?
Yes.
All
so
right.
basically, it gives you alerts. So you can tell the meter to alert you if your blood sugar drops below, say, 70 or goes more than 200. Then this is the handheld device with that one, and it shows you continuous graph going up and down.
Or down, up or down.
And you can
this
go back.
Is married to that.
Correct.
Okay.
They work together.
Those two work together. Okay.
The only disadvantage with these things is your patients have to wear it all the time. It's external, sometimes it falls off.
Or if you want to be cute as a lady with your outfit, then it's going to show. If you have a sleeveless or
but still you can hide it. It's not such a big device. But the advantage is, so that's why we are moving into the next generation. So we are going to talk about it in the next segment. And that's very exciting. That's why I said, when you called me, I said, okay, we are going to talk about that. Right. And that's why I wanted Kathalee to come and
give us
some
share
more
with us today,
ideas,
because she's
it's such a latest technology. So.
Right, and so that's the part of her team. She's on that team, and they've come up with this great product that's going to help us to help people to have a better quality of life.
Exactly.
Right.
Now, again, sensors are only part of the story, right?
Right.
Now we are talking about the whole picture.
Right.
Now, what is the best thing we can do? Let's say you have a sensor you're wearing. Let's say you're on an insulin pump.
Right.
Okay. Now, what if we start talking to each other? Right? Because in the old days, there was a sensor.
Right.
There was a insulin pump like this.
And they didn't
but
really
they
talk.
were independent. They never talked. So now we are progressing in such a way that they started talking to each
together,
other.
and we are going to the new generation. Okay, what we're going to do right now, we're going to take our first break, go to our sponsors, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy, introduces Excellence Redefined, timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates, LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you. Stark Avenue, Columbus, Bradley Park, Columbus, Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange, East Burkhalter Avenue, Buena Vista, and Springs Street in Warm Springs. The Framing Factory and Art Gallery, specializing in quality art and framing for all your needs. Original etchings, limited editions, and prints. Call Carlton Dickey today at 706-324-3823 or visit the Art Gallery at 1325 17th Street in Columbus. Vanessa Jackson's District 3 Successful Scholars Program, supporting students in achieving academic excellence, outstanding citizenship, positive social and cultural growth, believing in success for kids.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Adopting from your shelter makes sense. You get a great friend checked by our vet. They're fixed, all shots, microchipped, all ready to make you and your family's life better. 4900 Milton Road, Columbus. Paws Humane.
Come meet your new best friend at Paws Humane.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with my awesome friends, Dr. Baliga and my new friend, Kathalee. Welcome. I'm so excited you and your team came up with this great new technology. As you said, it's the what?
The next generation.
The next generation. And so they have you out just beating the drums and saying it's here, and you can jump on board and improve the quality of your life. And that's what this is all about.
Yeah, it's really the next step in continuous glucose monitoring. And Dr. Baliga is an entrepreneur and is on top of like what's the latest and greatest that he can provide for his patients. And so we're honored to be here and be a part of that.
Exactly. And then that's the thing that we love about him in this community in Alabama and Georgia. He has practices, you know, both sides, and everyone that I've ever met that was his patient, whenever we post him on social media, he blows up. I mean, he is the rock star. He is.
You've been too kind to me.
No, really, it's true when it comes to treating diabetes.
Yes.
Not only is he always for the latest technology, which improves the quality of life, but everyone says he has an excellent bedside manner. So, I mean, you know, when you want to, you know, put out the best, you connect with the best. Okay. So we have the best on this team. Okay, so how do we move? We've had this generation where we had to have...
Right. We talked about the Libre, we talked about the Dexcom. So they're pretty good, right? Dexcom is also very nice. But there are certain drawbacks. For example, you know, if you're using the current sensors, you have to, you know, put it on.
Right.
And sometimes patients don't feel good because they're working in narrow environment, or they're sweating too much, and the thing comes off, and then we don't get the data. So we always wanted an implantable sensor, so it stays inside the body, so that it improves the compliance. See, we put it in, and it stays there for a specified period of time.
So now we're talking about an implant.
Yes, this is called Eversense sensor. This is a company called Sensionics, and I believe this product is already being used in Europe, right?
It is, correct.
Yes, this is the first time the FDA has cleared it for use here in the United States, and they are going to go live on the 31st of this month.
Okay.
And fortunately, I'm one of the only 7 endocrinologists who are going to start it on day 1.
I know. See, we're always the first. That's why I just love being on this team with him. So this has been used in Europe for 2 years. And so now the FDA here in America has said, you can do it. We can try this out, and we're getting ready to go live on July 31st.
31st, right.
And we actually got FDA approval on July 21st. We're just doing our first insertion certifications on July 31st. And Dr. Baliga is going to be one of the first in the country.
How great is that?
It's possible that one of the people living in Columbus or Opelika, they will be the #1 in the whole of United States.
Exactly. So do we do a lottery? How do we select this person?
So basically, these are the patients who need glucose sensor. For example, they are on multiple insulin therapies, they are having a lot of hypoglycemic episodes, they have a very busy lifestyle. Then, you know, this is one of the best things they can use, because it ensures compliance. Because once I insert that in, it stays there for 90 days.
Okay, so this will be done in the office.
In the office.
Right, and you were saying to me prior to, what's the age? They can't be younger than
18 and older.
They have to be
FDA
18.
approval.
Okay, 18 and older. Okay, what about with the insurance companies? Is this something that might be?
Yeah, so this is the first continuous glucose monitor that is offered as a CPT code, which basically means it's a billable procedure for the endocrinologist practice.
Okay, so as you're out visiting endocrinologists and others, then you can tell them that this is something new to FDA and it's a billable. So people will have to do their own research and make sure. But that's going to be one of the first things, because we did a community event back last fall, and that was one of the things when he was showing some technology. How would the insurance companies receive this? So that's exciting. I'm excited about that.
Exactly. We're all, you know, this is what my patients needed. So the first step is to start using it on patients. Then they are in the process of talking to all the different insurance companies and make sure that it's covered. And I believe the insurance companies will see the value in this one, because if we can show that this is an excellent device which ensures patient safety, helps in better diabetes control, which translates into longer life.
Exactly, and less trips to the emergency room and
Exactly.
doctor's visits.
Yes.
So it saves money. Yeah,
Saves
so
money.
we have to invest on the front end to save more money on the back end.
Correct.
Right.
You're right.
So how long would it take to do this implant in the office?
We did a trial run in my office, and it takes about my particular step. It shouldn't take more than 10 to 15 minutes.
Really?
Right.
Okay, so this is not some 3-4 hour.
No.
Oh, and then you got to be. Oh, okay, and
It's
then
a
have
very
to be out of work or anything like that for an
No,
extended
no.
period.
They
okay.
come to my office, and basically they lie down on the table, so we use it on either right or left side of the arm, and we make a sterile area so that infection doesn't go in.
Right.
Make a small nick, and they have these cute devices to insert.
It's so cute.
It's so
I
cute.
know he loves technology.
And it's so intuitive, you know. Initially, you know, sometimes when I use a new product, I have to scratch my head. Oh my God, how am I going to do it? But this is like boom, boom, boom. It goes in so smooth, and it just stays underneath the skin.
Really?
So
Just
it's a very
beneath
tiny
the-
nick. It's like
really?
a 5mm nick.
Oh, okay.
And we just anesthetize the skin with a little bit of lidocaine so that it doesn't hurt. But once
So it's actually numbed a
Yeah,
little.
we make it numb
Okay,
before
so
we
you'll
put
do
it
that,
in.
and
Correct.
it's just a small because this is
this is the device.
that's
see
a
that?
device, right?
And
It almost looks like a little nail or something.
exactly.
No, I mean it's nothing. It's not frightening.
Isn't
You
it
know, when we
amazing?
start thinking about a transplant, then people get overwhelmed because we're just not exposed to that.
Yes,
so that's
right.
something. It's
So
just
look at the size in comparison.
right.
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 So, and you won't even know. So once the device goes in, then we put one small, like a almost like
Adhesive.
an adhesive on
Adhesive.
top, and this is the transmitter. So this one records the data, sends it to the transmitter. Transmitter sends it to an app on the phone. So there is no separate handheld device. So you
Oh,
pick
like
up your
before,
phone.
you don't have to have
So
that.
you don't have to have this one.
Yeah, the little
Right.
cell phone looking
Correct.
thing. Last time we did a community event, we were saying it looks like a little
It can
cell
go
phone.
up to 5 cell phones, but
Right.
this one also just on the cell phone. So
Okay, and
that's the
so
beauty.
it's 10 to 15 minutes, a very small incision.
Correct.
It doesn't require being out of work for an extended
No.
period of time. So those are all of the great things we
Great
have
things.
to tell people because, you know, folks resist change.
Yes.
So it's like you don't have to miss work. You know, it's one of our things that the FDA's approved. Our insurance companies are not frowning at it. So
Not yet, the coverage is not there yet, so but they're working on it. So
Okay.
hopefully in the next few months we'll get insurance coverage. Then it becomes more affordable to the mass.
for
So
masses.
at the moment, you know, we are working on that. So probably people with some financial assets, they can
do
they
it.
can do it. So.
Okay, well, what we're going to do right now is we're going to just take a look at it,
Okay.
and so our viewers can see it. Okay,
Sure.
let's take a look.
The Eversense CGM system consists of a small body-worn transmitter, shown here on the arm, and a tiny sensor that is inserted just under the skin. The Eversense sensor stays in place and measures glucose in the interstitial fluid for up to 3 months. The transmitter wirelessly powers the sensor every few minutes. This power activates the sensor, which flashes an LED light source. A fluorescent polymer coating on the outside of the sensor is excited by the LED light. Glucose from the body reversibly binds to the coating, and the amount of light emitted by the polymer coating rises and falls with the body's glucose concentration. This emitted light is measured by photodetectors inside the sensor. Special circuitry digitizes the light signal and relays it back to the transmitter. The body-worn transmitter receives this data and calculates the glucose concentration. The transmitter sends glucose data via Bluetooth to a smartphone running the Eversense mobile application, so there's no need to carry around an extra receiver device. The transmitter is smart and provides on-body vibe alerts even when your smartphone isn't nearby. The smartphone app can wirelessly send the sensor glucose history to an email or a cloud-based application. Or the data can be downloaded from the transmitter to a personal computer via USB. The sensor glucose data may be shared with a family member or doctor so that they too can view the sensor glucose history.
Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. The Hugel Foundation, enriching the community through Christian music support, community outreach, and the Georgia Through Photography Project. For more information, call B at 706 568-6431. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. Best Care, transforming minds and bodies, leading the way in the latest techniques of medical weight loss and wellness. Certified in family medicine and bariatrics, Dr. Blunt is ready to assist in the transformation of your mind and body. Call today, 706-221-6477, or visit bestcarecolumbus.com. East Alabama Endocrinology, educating and caring for those living with diabetes in Alabama and Georgia. 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard, 3320 Skyway Drive, Suite 602, Opelika. Take charge of diabetes and live your best life. State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front line for veterans every day. And welcome back to Straightforward. We are so excited about the new generation of technology in treating diabetes. Dr. Baliga, you work very hard on a daily basis. We live in the Bible Belt. We talk about this every time. We're Southerners. We love everything. Fried chicken, peach cobbler, sweet tea, all those things that a lot of our diabetics should not be having. So sometimes your job is very difficult because we have to retrain the brain.
Correct.
Yeah, so we can just say, you know, that's what you always have for Sunday dinner, but you shouldn't be having that.
Correct.
But we got a new generation of things to help people.
Correct. So lifestyle modification, diet and exercise is very important every time we reinforce. Then we give them the tools to manage this better, right? You have better drugs, now you have better devices, now you have all these sensors so that you know your sugar all the time. That's the key. Now, coming back to that Eversense sensor, once we put it in, it stays there for 90 days.
90 days.
Correct. At the end of 90 days, they come back to my office again, and we again put a small nick and pull out the old one.
And put in a new one. It's like going to get your car tuned up or your oil changed. So you're going to get a, no, but that's a good thing. Because 90 days, and they've had the luxury of not pricking the finger. Some of the older people give themselves those, you know, the old-fashioned shots. And so 90 days, that's 3 months.
3 months.
You can go to Europe and come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you do still prick your finger twice a day with the
day.
Eversense. The benefit is that you're not having to do self-insertion
Okay.
over a weekly period of
I
time
got
or
you.
bi-weekly period
Okay,
of time.
so we got that cleared up. Okay.
So then if you don't mind, we can move on to the pumps. I'm a little bit more excited about newer kind of pumps. For example, this is one is called Vigo. So this is an insulin pump for the dummies. Very simple. Type 2 diabetes patients, if they are on the pump.
Vigo.
You just attach it.
Pump for the dummies. It's like tax for preparation for the dummies. So this one is very simple.
Very simple.
You don't have to have a PhD to try to figure out how to use that.
You and I can do it. So
Okay, so anybody can do that.
Yeah, that's the Vigo pump. Whenever you're eating a meal, let's say you're in a restaurant, you have to give like 6 units. So there is a button on the side. So through the skin, through the clothing, you can click 1, 2, 3, 6, and 20.
Okay, so if it was under her sweater or my jacket, and I can just mash it, and people would think maybe I'm scratching my arm or something like that.
Correct.
Okay.
Then there is another patch pump called Omnipod. This is also
Omnipod.
Yes.
Okay.
So it has insulin inside, so you put it on the skin anywhere you want, and it will be controlled by a handheld device.
Okay, so that's like the little cell phone thing that we talk about.
Beautiful device, works well, very nice.
Okay.
Then this is called the T-Slim a T-Slim pump. It's a touch screen, waterproof, and
so this is the one we can take to the beach.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So if you're at the beach and you want to go scuba diving or snorkeling,
up to a certain feet, it's water resistant, so that's fine.
Okay.
But now the exciting thing for them is now they have connected this device with the Dexcom sensor.
Really?
So that's the latest thing. So they talk to each other.
Okay.
And let's say if your blood sugar drops below, say, 70, 60 overnight, and this will tell the pump to stop giving the insulin, so that if the patient doesn't wake up, they would have gone into coma, right? Now the sugar comes back into the normal range again.
So this is doing all of the work.
Yeah, this is artificial. It is artificial intelligence.
Okay,
it
artificial intelligence. He loves that.
Correct.
That's why he has Sandbot. He's always trying to take us on to the space age.
Correct.
So it's going to talk.
Correct, and this can sense your blood sugar dropping 30 to 60 minutes before actually it drops. So well in advance, you know that your sugar is going to go down. So this never happened before, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So that's a good warning. That's a very good warning.
This is one of the best
things.
things.
And that keeps people out of trouble.
Correct.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right.
The idea is to stop having severe hypoglycemic reactions. So, now, this is from Medtronic. Now, they are sort of leaders in the field. So they brought this latest advanced pump called 670G threshold suspend pump. It's almost like your own artificial pancreas. So basically, it also works with their own sensor. They talk to each other. And when it goes into your auto mode, like your Tesla, auto driving, so it keeps your sugar around 120 all through the day and night. If the sugar drops, it brings it up. If the sugar goes up, it brings it down.
Really?
So the idea is to bring everything around 120 all the time.
And so this will do it?
This will do it.
Really?
So not perfect yet, but
that's pretty
much
close.
better than whatever we have.
Right, and it takes all the guesswork out.
Correct.
Because people, when they're trying to just, like you say, when they don't bring you the data, you don't have the information, it's hard for you to have a plan of action. Because you want people to be their best. And we want people to work. So if you're feeling bad and your sugar is low, then you're not a very good employee. I mean, especially with your job, because you're out visiting people and trying to spread the word on this. And so we're going to go live. When are we going live with this?
So July 31st is National Eversense Freedom Week, and we're very excited that Dr. Baliga is going to be one of the first in the country to be a part of that, and really just invite any patients that are curious about learning more about the 90-day first and only implantable sensor to reach out to Dr. Baliga in his office and be a part of National Eversense Freedom Week.
I know, just making history. I tell you, it is. So we have East Alabama Endocrinology. So we're in Opelika, and we're here in Columbus. So we're in Georgia and Alabama.
Correct.
And so the patients on both sides, they can come in, and this
is an option.
It's an option.
Yes, ma'am. So, see, that's the thing. Ultimately, we want our patients to live as if they don't have diabetes.
Right. A normal life, whatever normal is.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's why, we want our patients to have a diabetes control just like a normal person will do. Just like, if your pancreas is working nicely, then you will have your sugar like that all the time.
Right.
Doesn't matter whether you drink a sweet tea or not, right?
All right.
Right?
So I had sweet tea today. I'm a Southerner. We love sweet tea.
Right.
Yeah. So again, tell us, and of course, they'll see it because you're one of the sponsors and been with us for a very long time. Where you're located in Columbus and Phoenix City before we run, and Opelika, I'm sorry.
Yes, in Columbus we are in Brookstone, 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard. In Opelika we are on 3320 Skyway Drive.
Okay, so I thank you all so much. We're excited, and I love that you're always the first.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
This has been Straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.